A warm welcome to Anuradha Vedic Astrology. Today we are going to talk about the sign of Gemini. But before we begin, a big thanks to all of you for liking, sharing and subscribing to our YouTube and Spotify channels and writing in your suggestions and your comments there. If you haven't written to us or if you haven't subscribed to us, please do, and do remember to press the bell icon so that you can get the updates ASAP. The Gemini sign is a sign which brings in a lot of flavors with it. Why? Because it's the good and the bad combined. How so? When we look at the Gemini sign, we see a pair of twins who are holding a mace and a musical instrument. That's right. So they have the entire, so to speak, the spectrum between them, where they are capable of fighting and they are capable of soothing an entire environment. What they use at that time is something that's not known to them also, and that's the fun part of it. So these people can have a lot of strong dualating or dual personality, so to speak, because as it's a dual sign and it is representing of dual mind frames. You will find the yin and the yang, same person, when they have this sign as a very strong sign. On a serious note, I would also like to say that when we talk about schizophrenia and ADHD, all these problems will also have an afflicted sign of Gemini, because again the duality of a person's nature will take very strong steps here. So now when we talk about the placement, say for example it is placed in the third house for a person, then we know that the third house, which is the representative of the brother or the father-in-law, for example, can show such qualities in the person, or the speech of the person, because the third house is also your speech, can be both very sweet, very convincing, and at the same time you can have a very fiery, very fighter kind of a speech. So you need to be very aware as to when to use this kind of speech, or your courage for that matter. You can be very courageous, you can be very creative also. Your father-in-law could be having a personality that could be bordering from being extremely loving or can be extremely quarrelsome. So does the same for your brother. If it has our fifth house, then we know that the fifth house is the house of our loved one, in the sense it can be the house of your person who you are in love with. So many a times you can just say that the person can say, I really am not able to understand, because the person is showing a lot of different and opposing qualities. Well, if the person has the lagna of Aquarius, then the fifth house falls in the sign of Gemini, and anybody you are having a relationship with, that is before marriage, can show the very contrasting qualities that leaves you baffled. The sixth house is the house of your people who you work with together, your co-employees, and it is also the house of your servants, your people who work for you. So in the domestic environment, so in that case you can say that they can have very contrasting nature. People who work with you can also have very contrasting nature, and you have to be ultra careful with them, because you never know which side of theirs shows up at that time. Again, if it is in your ninth house, then it's your father we are talking about. In that case, such a person may feel that the father could be very loving at one place, but could be equally fearsome and combative at another. So they need to be very, very careful on those grounds. This is how we can check the Gemini sign as to where it is placed in our chart, which house that it represents in our chart, and then see if the nature that we are looking into of the person is very contrasting, and the person can represent two different personalities at the same time. So till we meet with you again, stay safe. Thank you.
Please hit the bell icon for fresh updates. Don't forget to like, share and comment on the videos, and please subscribe to our channel.